everybody, and welcome back to the Do Business Show, the place where we give you practical tips, strategies, and insight for you to, well, do business. You might notice that this looks a little bit different than the last few episodes.
This isn't me?
This isn't, well, the entire look.
Oh.
But this is a new space.
I was wearing a flannel last time I was on this
Last
show.
time you were here, that's right. You know, Jake, we should pull up, not now, but in post, a little short clip of John on the show last time.
I was looking for a writer job. I just graduated from UC Riverside with a degree in creative writing. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do with that?
I looked a little more frumpy.
You look different.
Should we just zoom in on the flannel?
That might be great.
The flannel, the beard, the whole thing.
You were lumberjacking
I
it
was a
very
little,
hard. Yes.
yeah.
But it was good.
It was
but
fine.
My point to us going off on that nice little rabbit trail is we have a new look. We have a new studio. And I am going to say it loud and proud here. We have a new regular
That's
on
right.
the show. And it's going to be Jake Frazier. I'm kidding. It's going to be John
Whoa.
Welch's.
I mean, he's fine.
I mean, he'll be here.
He's
He'll be here.
family.
Yeah. What sound did you just play? Because
The
we
bell.
couldn't hear. The
The
bell.
bell.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well,
Stop.
you can do applause too for John because he really, I mean, he could use applause.
There.
Oh, couldn't we all use
Thank you.
applause?
Don't do more.
No, that's just enough.
Just for me.
just for okay.
That's right.
Just for John. But this I think is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes.
I think it's gonna be really informative, and we're gonna help a lot of you do business because that's what this show is all about.
It's true.
What would you define as doing business, John?
Doing business is deciding that you want to help people and deciding that you're worth enough to have them pay you to help them. That's,
Yeah.
want to help people with hospitality, open a hotel. And then you decide what you want to charge based on how nice the beds are and how good the service is.
How much value you bring to the people that come to your hotel.
Off the top of my head, that's what I got.
That's a good one. I think that's actually pretty good off the top of the dome.
You want to hear a little story real quick about hospitality?
Should we get into stories already?
I don't know. It's what came to my head.
Okay, let's tell the hospitality story and then we'll get into our topic for today.
Oh, what's our topic for today? As a
Well,
hospitality?
no, it's not hospitality. That is
It's
it is
pipeline.
not.
But actually, this gets us back to pipeline.
Okay, good. Let's go.
Can I say the topic?
You can say the
I
topic.
already said the topic.
You just did, but people may
But
not
I don't
have
want to
noticed.
take your thunder because this is technically your show.
I'm okay sharing the thunder, John.
The topic today is pipeline, filling the pipeline, maintaining the pipeline, all things pipeline.
Sales pipeline. Just be clear.
So let's be
We're-
clear on.
We're not plumbers.
So how do we get people into the pipeline? Do you want to know how I got into a pipeline?
Let's hear
that
it.
I was already in technically.
Yes.
But then was the only word I can think of is reinserted.
Interesting. Go on.
Sorry. I know it's a trauma word or a trigger word for some people.
That's going to be a trigger word for some people. Yes. So
Okay,
let's,
so we were on our 20th anniversary trip 2 weeks ago. And I'm not we had sick kids. They seemed like they were better, so we pushed the day back. We pushed the trip back a day, thinking they were going to get better. They did get better for that day. So we left, and we were an hour into our trip by the time we got to the first local hotel. We're going to do 2 nights in Pismo Beach, 2 nights in Los Olivos. And we get a call from our babysitter, who are our close friends, and they said, "Oh, your daughter still has the flu." We thought she was better. They said, "Stay. It's probably the tail end." Long story short, it was not the tail end. So the next day, we start going back. The place in Los Olivos is very nice. I used points. That's how nice it is. I had to use points to stay there. But we were to experience a bunch of bummer moments just leaving the trip early, having the side-by-side rental place that we were going to do the sand dunes in, just jerk us around. And we were just bummed because we're going home 3 nights early, celebrating our anniversary. It's a great, great thing. And we're okay, but we're just bummed. So I get a call from the manager of the nice hotel, the really nice hotel. I'm going to say it's a Le Auberge or La Auberge.
if you have to say it with a French accent, you know it's expensive.
You know it's expensive.
Le Whale.
Le Well.
Lobel.
The Inn at Maddie's Tavern in Los Olivos, the manager there, Angel, calls me, and I can't describe other than just the most, having gone through years of bad customer service and what I feel like is just a complete degrading, just cast members at Disneyland, all over the place. Not to throw out, we don't want to cease and desist, but
You're getting close.
It could apply to any place where people are doing business.
The customer service of the last decade has just gone downhill, most places. And a lot of it's because people want tips for swiveling stuff.
Oh, we could talk about that. We can have a whole episode on that.
We will.
I am more than happy to give my thoughts on that.
Are you? Okay, good. Hopefully they're in line with our thoughts.
So,
Maybe.
well,
Sorry, go ahead.
that's fine.
He called.
And we were just overwhelmed by we were overwhelmed by the amount of care and thoughtfulness. And, we're thinking like, this is a very expensive nightly rate for this place. I would never probably stay there, based on
If
my
you weren't
current
using points.
circumstances. Yeah.
Sure.
But it was that, they didn't like cancel. They didn't like give us a penalty. They didn't do anything. They said, yeah, we'll just get your points back to you. And whenever you guys can come back, we'll take care of you. And it was I don't know. I can't even really describe how I felt because it was like such a relief to have those things said to me in the midst of this devastation. I'm like, I'm going to stay there no matter what. I'm going to pay the money if the points aren't there, or if, whatever we're going to do, we're going to stay there again. Like that's how we weren't going to stay there. And I'm like right back into the pipeline because they built so much trust with me and just made me feel so like a part of their family just without even being there. That's to me is like how you keep people in your pipeline, a part of your pipeline, because the pipeline is an ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm.
You get a customer in the pipeline and then you got to keep them, you got to keep nurturing them. So that's a kickoff or it's a summation, but I think it's a start of something.
Well, I think the point to your story, which is a fantastic story, is it's about relationships.
It's about relationships.
And I think that all of it comes down to if we were to boil everything that I've ever talked about or we've ever talked about in business in general, it's about relationships and how you foster those relationships. Specifically, dealing with sales pipeline, that's a great way for the hotel to be like, well, we're going to take care of you. We're going to be hospitable because it's in the name. And there are several hotels that does not happen.
Oh my gosh.
That it is just like you're just a number. You're just somebody that stays the night.
Right.
So I think that's important. But this all started with me coming to you recently and said, John, I'm really looking to increase my pipeline for my business, for my CPA tax CFO business.
Yes.
And I said, John, how do you keep your pipeline full?
And what did I say?
And you said very insightful things. But it ultimately came down to, because I was asking about networking groups, because I know you've been involved in networking groups, and people talk about networking groups. You may have been involved with or been talked to or been tried to be sold into a networking group for your business, whatever it may or may not be. And I've never really been in one. I've gone to them before.
You've been in them, but maybe you haven't been in an official one.
I'm talking about official ones where it's like you have to buy the membership.
Yeah.
It costs you $3 to whoever knows how many $1,000 a year.
You got to give referrals to get referrals.
And it just feels wrong. It feels cheesy.
You're talking about MLMs.
No. There's networking groups. I don't know if you've ever been to one. So there's.
Are you talking about like conferences? Like networking conferences?
No. What's the big one?
Well, there's many. So the one that I'll just say the ones that I've been in. I've been in I joined the Yorba Linda Chamber of Commerce.
That's
a networking group. So local businesses, typically retail or service businesses that serve plumbing, HVAC, all those things. Those are going to be joining the chamber. You might have your odd duck kind of the local, construction company that does big work, but they want to join the chamber because for them that's like a box to check.
Well, but also in that area, they may get work in the city.
They might get work in the city, through the and some chambers or some cities may require you to join their chamber to do work in the city.
How many of these companies that are looking to join the chamber or just get added into the chamber, how many of these are unions?
I would say zero.
Yeah, they're small business.
They might have a union side to their business, but they're most likely non-union.
They may have union workers, Like construction
yeah.
companies are great, like
Right.
electrician, like there's electrician unions, there's pipe fitter unions, there's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
construction space, but a general contractor typically is not part of a union, but
Right.
they would be involved in a networking group.
But we have clients who are or are contractors. Usually they're like specialty subs. Both have a union and non-union side, so
Yep.
they can get all the work that they can.
Because some jobs require you
Right.
to have union workers, some jobs don't. That's
Right.
that's a whole nother
Neither here
topic.
nor there.
However, we were talking about these networking groups that you pay to be a part of. Now,
Yeah,
do you
so-
pay to be a part of the chamber?
You do. Yeah. So you have chamber dues. And then you have on top of that, you can join. Like I was the president of the Network Connection group for a year, which was like a separate chamber event that met on Tuesdays for lunch. And I think it still meets. So, and that's where everybody is there to power network. Like you're there to give your little commercial. You're there to highlight somebody else that did a good job. Like, thanks to Frank Stefano for the great ham we had at Easter.
Oh, and doesn't
Everybody
Stefanos make
claps.
great
Stefanos.
ham? Yeah.
Get the Uncle Carmine, man.
Oof. I'm a Bostonian guy.
Are you?
Jalapenos and cream cheese.
Oh, the Romeo though too.
Oh, so good.
That's
Anyway.
a good one.
Frank, we love your place.
So after I did the chamber, you decide at a certain point that your business needs maybe another level, or you decide that the chamber isn't serving the business network needs that you need to grow. So there's other specialized groups. So I was in BNI, which is Business Network International, which some might say is a little hokey, and I would agree, but also I was in more of a B2B focus, which is business to business. And so the B2B focus one means there was a business strategist, there was a CPA, there was a financial plan advisor. It wasn't just, Gary the plumber and Linda the Mary Kay person. There was 2/3 was more focused on B2B services. So my business actually thrived there for a couple of years. And actually I met a great partner there. We shared business together. And that really, you find alliances within these network groups, and then you build your business with them. You got to give a certain amount of referrals. You got to build trust with people. Their motto is givers gain, which is a nice motto, and it's true. It's a little schmaltzy, but it's fine. The next layer of networking is maybe for your business in CPA land is, and lawyer world, is joining provisors. That's a very B2B, but also very professional service oriented group, which my business could do well there. It would just take time. And so,
And let's make sure everybody's aware. You're a content marketing company.
my company is Red Mallard. Yeah, we do content marketing, which basically is we figure out your company's voice, your corporate voice. We tell stories. We help you figure out what stories need to be told, and we do the lion's share of the creation.
And Todd, how about you give a log line about your business?
Well, I already said, but of Frazier Industries, because we do
You didn't
CPA.
say Frazier
I
Industries.
didn't say Frazier Industries. I just said tax, CPA advisory, CFO work. I am a CPA. So, and I talk about myself on the show a lot.
Sure.
Too much often, some might say.
Well,
I don't know. This is my first
disagree.
time sitting in, baby.
And you know what? Side note.
okay.
I don't think I introduced Jake to the Do Business world because you've never been on the Do Business show.
I have not been
So
on
this
Do
is
Business.
this is my kid brother, Jake Frazier, and he's getting into the accounting space.
Yeah.
Coming in for he's a
family
professional
business.
chef by trade.
The family business.
Family business, that's right. Pops is a CPA and I'm a CPA and Jake's doing the accounting
And
world and
Jake's a chef that is
Jake's a
learning
chef that's
alongside with the audience.
but he's also a media guy. We've done some of you may have seen the TSTO show, the amazing show that is on hiatus currently.
We're not going to drop anything.
We're not
yet.
going to drop anything. But
Was
just
I on
saying,
that show ever?
You never
No.
came on that show, but you would have
But
been
we
fun
have,
on that show.
but we have plans.
Mike Wandry liked that show.
Mike Wander does like that show. Mike, we love you. So that's Jake.
You said something that piqued my interest.
Oh, yay.
Best hamburger locally. If you're a chef,
Because he's a chef.
yeah.
Okay,
Where do you trust? Where do you think does the best job for a good kind of just
man,
artisan-esque hamburger?
You're talking artisan.
Yeah.
You're talking artisan hamburger.
Yeah. I don't mean brie cheese and but
But
maybe
you don't mean In-N-Out.
maybe that's what you mean.
Well, I mean, if I'm going to go artisan route, Why this is do business? Why are we talking about food?
Because people sell hamburgers, Jake.
And they need a pipeline.
Yes, they do.
So I personally believe that one of the best artisan hamburgers you can get is at Stacked. And Stacked, there is a Stacked in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
You been there?
Yeah, I've heard. I think is there one in Vegas?
I don't know that there is one in Vegas. But if you want the best place in Vegas, so you get a hand roll from Tekka. That's where you got to go.
I never heard of that.
That's in the Cosmopolitan.
Oh, okay.
And it's unbelievable.
Now we're talking with Foodie Jake.
Yeah.
like it.
But no, best hamburger, I genuinely have to say, and this is so biased for California and Texas listeners, it's got to be In-N-Out.
You know what you're getting every time you go.
Every time.
It's consistent. I work there.
I think, but that comes back into business, right? Like having consistency, your client, your product, right? When we're talking about hospitality, what people are looking for is they're looking for something that they can rely on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're able to go somewhere and one of the things that I always said in kitchens was we need to be the McDonald's of artisan sandwiches when I was at Sessions. And that's because of the fact that I want you to have a great sandwich, but I want it to be something to where if you're going to come and you're going to ask for the summer Zephyr every time you come in, it's got to be the same.
Yeah.
Every time.
So I think it's interesting. It's making me think about a couple things, and this kind of
Besides lunch?
This kind of goes back to this hotel experience and what we're talking about In-N-Out. And because the first thing people think about In-N-Out that maybe haven't had it, or maybe there's a few people that actually are out there that aren't fans, they'd be like, it's just burgers and fries, right? Well, it is on the menu, burgers and fries and a few different types of beverages. But what they've done to innovate all those things and also just let that basically be crowd marketed or, crowd guerrilla marketing, when I started working there, that was like around the first time they started doing the protein burger.
Oh.
And they don't offer a veggie patty, so they stayed true to some things. Like nothing's frozen, but they have the protein style. They've got the Flying Dutchman. You can order your hamburger animal style. You can order it
whole grilled.
You can order your fries now animal style. I remember one time where somebody ordered fries raw.
Wild.
I've heard of well done, and I like crunchy,
I love well done. Yeah.
fries. Somebody asked for raw potato.
One time.
I understand why.
Go ahead.
Because they wanted to take them home and fry them themselves so they didn't get cold and soggy on the drive home.
Maybe.
Unless, did they eat them in the restaurant?
I did not watch them.
You didn't
If
stay.
you order a raw fries, I'm not going to watch you
That's a person that
eat.
comes through the window and you're like, I got to see what they do with these.
Yeah, for sure.
That's not a person that you say, well, I'm not going to pay attention to what they do out in the restaurant with these raw French fries.
One guy came in, ordered a 12 by 12 one time.
Holy.
We all watched that guy eat that.
What's the point of that?
I don't know. Our other brother probably would have done something like that.
David never got to that size.
No, but he got to 6.
6 by 6?
Yeah, he got to 6 by 6.
Man. I had a 6 by 6 one time.
Did you work together there?
I was there before him, and I think I left right when he
started.
Maybe we started together, but I think we overlapped a little bit.
It was his senior year of high school, and he was a year younger than you.
Yeah, it was I started my. Did he open it or did he start there?
He was a part of the opening staff, I believe.
I don't think so.
Oh, really?
I don't think.
Either way, we were there for a little bit together.
Because you were part of the opening.
Yeah,
staff.
I was part of the opening staff. I was only there for like 7 months though. My grades started to tank and.
So hospitality
and your intake on burgers went through the roof.
Hospitality. I mean, so we're talking about In-N-Out on a business podcast because it's a business, blah blah blah. But also they innovated within their product. They, and they people talk about it. Like they don't have animal fries on the menu. I don't think. No. You have to ask for it. It's an upcharge. They have a button for it. It's the secret menu. But people talk about it. It's now part of the vernacular. Same thing will be. I've told this story about the hotel since last Wednesday when this happened. I think I've told this story probably at least 10 or 12 times. And I've mentioned the hotel and I've mentioned Angel. So I'm doing my part, not because I have to or I'm paid to, but because they did their part to build trust. And I haven't even stayed there.
Yeah.
I will stay there, I promise, but I may incentivize somebody else or persuade somebody else to stay there because of just that simple 3 or 4 minute phone call.
Well, and I think that brings us back to the point of how you get and keep a pipeline has to do with relationships.
Yes.
And the thing that happened for you that makes you now really interested in using their services again is they took care of you.
Well,
or they're saying they'll take care of you.
And imagine an AI bot on the phone with me trying to empathize with, like, now the second time, and I had talked to this guy 3 days prior when we had moved the trip back, and I explained the whole situation. He was very accommodating then. You know, the nightly rate was going to go up by 120% from Thursday to Friday online. But when they heard the story, they didn't adjust the fee.
Wow.
They didn't change the rate. Like, right there is just like,
that's huge.
I got to stay there.
Yeah.
And then 3 days later to hear like, hey, sorry, the kid is still sick. We have to go home. Like, an AI bot's going to be like,
go by whatever the best is.
The SOP's been uploaded. These are the proper responses. I don't know what to do. So this is why AI is a tool, but it's not going to be a relationship manager.
There are certain limits to what AI can do because it can only do what it's programmed to do.
Right.
And if you can't program every exception, which I think maybe someday in the very, very distant future might be possible, to program every potential exception. However, until that happens,
people will take advantage of that, I think.
Possibly.
We would just be in a whole cycle or circular situation of just everything's free and communism.
But back that up. Everything's free. So the same person, that's an X. That's a buzzer. But so if AI is smart enough to know all the exceptions, it's also smart enough if they're getting them bamboozled by the same person. If you know what I mean, between phone numbers, voice patterns, or whatever, if it's all if we're to the point where they can have every exception, then they can catch bad guys trying to exploit them.
Mr. Welch's, we know that your daughter is in college.
See, they know.
But I think that we're touching on something that's really important here, and we're talking about the human element.
Right.
Absolutely.
Because like we can talk about AI all day long, and we can say everything we want to about how AI is going to like. That's the biggest thing you hear in arguments for AI is that AI is going to steal people's jobs.
It's going to wipe out everybody's job.
Everybody's gone,
and we'll barely scratch the surface on it.
Exactly. Yeah. But what John, what you're talking about is you're talking about a human element that gave you a feeling of value from the product that you were being served.
Yes,
and that I think is the most important thing in business. Like one of the things I always said in restaurants when I was training new chefs was, people can taste if you don't want to be here.
Do you think that's actually true?
I do. Right. I know for a fact
because the product suffers if you don't want to be here.
Right. Because you're going to overcook the steak. You're going to undercook the fries. You're like whatever it is.
You don't care about each plate.
The smallest thing
come across. Yeah.
If you don't want it to look good when it goes out.
Right.
People are gonna have an idea of what this restaurant is entirely because of the job that you did, and I think that's transferable to any sort of business marketing in general. And what you're doing is you're talking about being a walking billboard,
right?
Right.
Well, and that's creating a product.
Yeah.
Creating a product or service that
people talk about.
People want to talk about.
Yeah.
Like how often do we get in fights with people that say In-N-Out is not good? Because they're obviously wrong because it's great.
Right. But then why do you have that opinion?
Yeah, because it's good.
Because it's good. Because
it does all come back to the product. Has to be good.
Because it gives you exactly what you went there for. Right?
Yep.
And so in your experience, you were taken care of, and there's a name behind that too, not just the name of the Hilton. Did you say it was the Hilton?
It was La Berge.
Oh, that's right. The
Bougie Hotel.
Yeah, Bougie Hotel.
John stays at Bougie Hotels.
But I wanted to.
and he will. He promises he will stay at a Bougie Hotel.
I will report
in the very
back
near
once
future.
we stay. We'll do an episode. We'll do on location.
On location from
nice.
That you know what? We should do that.
Brought to you by My Points.
But your product, the product that you got had a name, and that name is Angel.
Yeah.
And that was the person that delivered you that product.
Yeah. And he was an angel.
And I think that's really important to make sure that the relationship and the product gets people to stay. The thing now that I think we have an issue with is getting people to start.
Right.
How do we get the pipeline to grow? Meaning there's obviously a way that we just talked about from an organic standpoint that if your product or service is good enough, your customers will market for you. So then the other side of that is, how do you find people that don't know your customers, and how do you grow that sales pipeline? And we talked about networking.
Right. Networking. And, there's a multitude of ways to do it. I think the key, there's Google AdWords. So for online searches, like you want to show up at the top of Google, but not organically, this is going to be paid. Then you're going to be paying for that spot with a click, So if somebody clicks your little ad, that's going to cost you anywhere from like 5 cents to $500. That's going to be a thing. And then they've made their money. Like, that's the thing with Google AdWords is, if you're selling a commodity, you could sell specialized products, but the clicks are going to be more expensive, and you have no control over what happens on the other side, other than you have to have created a good landing page with information and call capture information, and hopefully a very nice form, something that's going to get them to engage with, so that you can now start the sales process, get them into the funnel where you have all the different things happening to build the brand within their mind, so that trust is established, so that when the person-to-person interaction, or the like whether it's e-commerce and you're buying, like we just found, Mike and Heidi pointed us to Knock Around sunglasses.
Oh, sunglasses. Yeah, you showed them to me. Yeah.
I
didn't buy any yet.
The whole idea is that they're like $35, all of them basically. Maybe like $20 to $50 is like the max, is the price range. And which is the great name, Knock Around. Like they're
just
telling,
knock-around glasses.
But they're telling you what to expect from these, so that when you pay,
Exactly.
Because I've bought 5 pairs since.
I know, they're all on your desk.
I could have,
I walked in a couple weeks ago, and you have sunglasses everywhere.
I could have a new pair of Ray-Bans that I'm going to be really, concerned about. Or have 5 pairs of knockarounds that are just like, well, they look
that you can knock around.
That I can knock around. Like they look cool. I'm not going to care if they drop. I'm not going to care if the kid breaks them. They look cool. They are cheap. They're polarized. I don't know how quality that is, but it says so, and I believe it because it says so.
Well, you can test them by looking at water with reflection. If you can see through, they're polarized.
I don't know if that's true.
I mean, let's go.
But realistic. But you found these glasses. You were like, okay, it was recommended by a friend that I know and trust.
Right.
And then I went and tried them out, and I'm like, huh.
And now,
walking billboard.
So yeah, so I walked into that funnel because I was like incentivized.
Well, you were brought in.
I was brought in.
You were brought in.
So getting people in natural organic. It takes. I think the statistics now. We could look this up later, but anywhere from like 10 to 15 touch points to get somebody to do something with your brand, that they haven't heard of before. So they have to see it on social. They have to see it in email. They have to hear about it. They have to see it on TV, radio, wherever. This is called advertising. That's and the percentage,
That's right.
The percentage is still like less than 1%.
Yeah.
Like you're going to spend $1 million on ads and you're going to get 1% of that back, but the value of that 1% is ideally supposed to exceed. So each of those, customers could spend $1 million each.
What'd you find, Jake?
I just looked up. I typed in how long does it take for someone to interact with your brand. I was just looking to see if there was anything related to that. Didn't find anything from just immediate clicks, but I think this is very true, and it's similar to the conversation that we're having right now. It takes just a fraction of a second to form a first impression. And I think that if anything, that's the biggest proponent is if there is somebody that you trust that is marketing your brand, regardless of if it's a person that works for the brand or if it's a person that just likes the brand.
Well, and influencer marketing. People that, if you can find someone that people trust and they are willing to promote whatever it is you're doing, that's I think another avenue. And the reason I came to you, because I'm looking to grow my pipeline, my sales pipeline more. And I've always only ever done just referral and personal relationship. That's all I've ever done. I've spent some money on ads and haven't really got anything from it. I've never been able to directly correlate. And if you're listening to Alex Hormozy, they're probably going to say, well, you don't have enough data, because if you have enough data, then you can correlate, exactly where they came from. Yeah. If you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in marketing every month, maybe that's true. But on small scale, unless you're selling a gizmo on Amazon, it's really hard to know how your advertising is doing, because especially if you're saying how many times, if you have to see something 10 to 15 to maybe 20 times before you're willing to leap in, like that takes a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long tail. So then it goes to how do you take what you do at a small level of family, friends, acquaintances, and really start to expand on that? And the answer has always been just more networking. Theoretically, right?
Theoretically, yeah. You have to, and I think a smarter networking.
Yes.
So, for like the more longer you're in business, or from the get-go, you decide this is the industry I'm going to specialize in. This is the type of buyer I'm going to focus on. So like for instance, Red Mallard could focus solely on accounting firms. We could focus solely
Niching
on
down?
forensic accounting firms. We could focus solely on forensic accounting firms that are owned by women. You could continue to niche down, and in doing so, by niching down, you're going to establish a brand in a very small pond, but that pond may have 500 customers. I don't need 500 customers, in my business. I need 50, 25, depending on the level that they're all spending. And that aligns with then my goals. Like, so there, you got to figure out where you want to specialize and what you want to do. And then also at the same time, have figured out or want to figure out what you want out of life. And that's going to decide how much networking, how much advertising, how much marketing, and how big that funnel and deep that funnel needs to be. But getting back to smarter networking is, you could start joining very associations. Like I would say, networking is, these little networking groups, BNI, Provisors, all that. The next level in my brain is joining an association. Like we were in the Construction Financial Management Association. Not a great networking spot for us.
Why not?
One reason, we went there because they hired us to do their content marketing for a couple years. The second reason is because CFOs or directors of finance and are never looking for marketing.
No.
They are never looking to
That's not the
spend
person.
more money. They have to approve the spend. They don't want to engage or invite the spend. So that wasn't a great fit for us, but they were paying us to be there, so we showed up. But I was a part of the Specialty Subcontractors Association of Southern California. That's a decent networking group, because you've got a very competitive environment where people are trying to be known by big GCs or by other builders or designers, and they need to puff up what their brand is. So that was a good spot for us for a little bit. But I think that goes to the, you kind of decide, like, where are my customers? They could be at conferences. We brought that up earlier. They could be at conventions. But that's like Google ads to me, going to a conference or a convention. If you're going as a speaker, that's really good. If you're going there as an exhibitor or to walk it, then it's like, you're looking for clicks. You're looking for people to scan your badge, to get their business card. And then the whole process of a follow-up sequence starts, where you're trying to go from the marketing funnel into the sales funnel. And those are two different funnels.
I have another thing that I just looked
Another
up.
tidbit.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, just thinking about like the profitability of like having an ad or like putting things in front of people, right? And that got me thinking about brain science. And so right here, the number of times that you need to see something to remember it varies, but research suggests that seeing information 5 to 7 times helps it form from short-term memory into long-term memory. And so I think that it's when it comes from a trusted source and not even just something like a billboard or like online advertisement that requires, activity from that person, right? Having a trusted source probably brings that number down. Well,
Because I think there's a difference between remembering and trusting.
Sure.
Right? Because 5 to 7 times to
100%,
remember is like, I've seen that billboard 5 to 7 times. I remember that.
Sydney Sweeney sells good jeans.
That's right. Sydney Sweeney has good jeans.
Has good jeans.
That's right. Don't want to make anybody upset, but
I don't know what you're talking about.
you're in advertising and you didn't know about Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle?
I was waiting for Jake to pull up the pictures so I could understand what you're talking about.
Oh, we're not going to show that picture
On
on
it.
here.
No.
No, it's not risque. But I guess the point is, the difference between just Google click advertising or even Meta, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube running ads, it's a long tail to get them to get to you. So how do you shorten that? And going to networking groups, you can only go so many times.
Right.
And then you wear out the networking group, or it's not a good networking group that doesn't work for you.
Sure.
So then you got to talking about, which I thought was brilliant. It's just talk to more of your existing network.
Yes.
Which is not a new idea. That's not like, oh wow, I never thought of that before. It's
Reinforce your reinforcements.
Reinforce your reinforcements.
This is
that should reinforce your reinforcements. That's the title of the episode.
.com.
There you go.
There you go. But I think that really took me to, yeah, it really is. That is really truly the best way to make sure that you're growing your sales pipeline, is just getting in touch with your network as often as possible.
A lot of people, I mean, the statistic I think still holds is 70% of your customers who've given you $1 are more likely to give you another $1.
Mm-hmm.
If they've given you one, they're 70% more likely to give you another one. So you need to have two different strategies going on, or two different campaigns. One is continuing to remarket to your existing customers, because depending on if you're a law firm or you sell, appliance repair products, both need to hear from you because they've already trusted you once. They view you as the expert now, unless you did a terrible service job.
Then they remember not to call you.
Right,
Correct.
Exactly.
So, but if you did your job and you did right and you met their expectations or exceeded them, hopefully, then you are more likely to get their business. But that depends on you asking for it. Waiting for them to remember you is a strategy, but it's not going to be
Not
as
a winning
successful.
strategy.
It's not a winning
Yeah.
strategy. It's not as successful as reminding them with more value why they should continue to see you as the expert. And so that's where we help people create case studies, testimonials, video shoots, and things like that really go to tell and further that story beyond the transaction to secure more transactions. But then everybody's like, well, I want new customers, because sometimes those customers drop off. They do. That's true. We all lose customers at some point. So the next strategy is, okay, then that'll you have to figure out, what do you want your business to do for yourself, for your team, for whoever, and that dictates how much you want to grow, how much you want to spend on advertising, what you can actually handle in terms of growth versus, we just want a bunch of new customers.
Yeah.
Well, if you get a bunch of new customers at once and you mess up all their product at one time, then you could go under for good.
Yeah. Quickly.
So then that becomes deciding what pace do you want to bring on new customers. And then it's like, okay, well, if we need to reach out, let's go with the 1% rule. If we reach out to 1,000 customers, we're going to get 10. Is that 1%?
Well, the 1% rule?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're going to get 10 customers. So that would be good for my business. If I reached out to 1,000 new prospects every month and got 10 from that, not every month probably, but over the course of 6 months, we got 60 new customers, or, and spent, how much would we have to spend to get 60 new customers?
It depends on what you're doing.
Well, yeah. So but you got to just go with that rule. It's like, well, if I want 100 new customers, then I got to spend 100 times what I would have spent to get 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think you really nailed it, though, when you were talking about like the quality of the product that somebody's getting, right? Because if we go back to the in and out conversation, we're talking about burgers and fries. It's simple. It's easy.
Yep.
But for us specifically living in Southern California, if I were to say, you want a burger, what's the first thing you're going to think of?
In and out.
Well, I'm going to think of Tom's, but
yeah. For the fact that it's across the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom's. You don't like Tom's? Well, it's Perry's now.
Yeah, it's Perry's place, but
I still call it Tom's.
That's fine. I just don't. Why drive there?
No,
It's across
we
the
walk.
street.
That's true. Then there you go.
But no, I just think with something such something that is as simple as burgers and fries, we have the preconceived notion of going, well, if I want a burger and I want a good one, I'm going to go to In-N-Out. because it's there and it's simple, and it's because of the fact that the product delivers every single time. Right. And so like if you bring, like you were saying, John, if you bring the product and you exceed expectation and you deliver the product even beyond what they were expecting, then of course they're going to give you their money next time. Right. Like we're already thinking about burgers right now, and we're thinking, well, if I want a good burger, I know exactly where to go. And we're going to go there rather than going to Carl's or Wendy's or something like that, because of the fact that for instance, your Perry's comparison is actually very valid because of the fact that you've gotten a product that you've loved from them, even though it's not necessarily the thing that you might think of first, but it's the one that's right there.
And that's interesting because it's close, but I actually do think of it first. For a couple different reasons. I love their hamburger. It's simple. Their fries are really good, and their fried mushrooms are amazing. But
On the burger?
no.
Oh,
no.
you got to try that.
Oh, yeah. Well, that might be good. However, they also have a screaming deal that I can get 4 burgers, 4 fries, and 4 drinks for $20. And I have a family of 5.
Can't get that at In-N-Out Burger.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
So that's another driver is it's easy. It's
The
across
value.
the street. It's good because I've liked it for a long time. There's some nostalgia too because I've gone there a long time. But then there's also a price factor. Now, In-N-Out is one of the most affordable, good, consistent meals you can get from a burger joint that I think is reasonable.
Well, because
in
there's
Southern
not a lot
California.
of, you can't order a bunch of stuff like,
Right.
you know,
It's
because
simple.
you're adding on a few things. The fried mushrooms, maybe a milkshake.
Yeah, I don't usually get milkshakes, but when I do get milkshakes, man, they're good.
They have a decent milkshake.
This is not a food
Yeah,
podcast.
no, it's not. It's totally turned into a food podcast.
People like to listen to food though.
Well, and,
That's true.
Well, they like to
Mukbang.
listen to food. Does food have sound?
It does.
Only when you're eating it. I guess no, cooking it could make sound.
Lobsters make sound when you cook them.
Yes, they scream.
Oh,
That's actually their shell separating.
I know but it's more fun to say they scream, Jake.
That's true.
So let's take this full circle.
it's more fun to name the lobsters and then put them in.
Jerry, you're done today. So let's take this full circle. So the question I came to you with recently was, how do I grow the sales pipeline? I know about networking. I've never really truly dove into an official paid networking group. I've done paid ads. I don't think that my business necessarily fits there because of my size and my industry. And then I went to content, which is where I always go to content because I
Always.
love making content. I think content works the best.
Well, this is the best medium right now to make content with because it's the most diverse. So, you know, we've got a couple clients that we've consulted on starting a podcast. We helped a client start their own podcast. For depending on the business, it's probably good for any business if you have the bent for it. If you can get in front of a camera, or if you feel good, or if you feel like you want to teach or you want to inspire, entertain people while you're doing your business, podcasting is the best source because then you've got so much different types of content can jettison from that 1 hour, 30 minutes that you spend recording it. You've got so much from that.
I think it also gives you a lot of room to give like depth in explanation.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's
In a digestible way.
digestible. I still think that podcasting, and you said, I said content, and then you went into the best thing to do is podcasting. You didn't say that, but that's what you meant.
I've told, yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
you're talking about because we're doing a podcast and you're saying, well, this is the best way to do it.
Right.
Podcasting is. I think it is the best way to assert and to evidence your authority
Yes.
in whatever it is you do.
You want to be an influencer and not go the the path of having to make, you know, yourself look really goofy online because because influencers are typically
They're entertaining.
they're entertaining, but they're also they're selling products that need a lot of exposure. You know, they need to go viral. If you're don't need to go viral, you just need to, you know, like if I influenced 500 of my top customers with a good podcast, that's more than enough. Because I want to keep them engaged, keep them connected with me. I want to be the authority that they think of when they think of content marketing, storytelling, you know, what have you.
It gives your customer a window into your brain.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it feels personal.
And it feels very personal. I think that's one of the things about YouTube personalities, podcasters, is we feel this connection with them. That's like, I know them. I know what they would say. Yeah, I know what they would say. I'm giving air quotes right there. I know what they would say to this question. I know how they would answer this because I've consumed enough of their content that this is what they would say. And especially as a CPA, it's extremely valuable because I get asked questions all the time. And I constantly get asked the same questions by different people. And if I had a way to say, hey, I'm going to answer this question that 17 of you have in one sitting of a podcast or piece of content, and then I'm going to be able to distribute it and have a library where you can go look it up and know like, oh, yes, I have that question. That's where I think that anybody who is in their industry is an authority that people could come to, and then that would turn into them wanting to do business with you. I think that having content, and I think podcast is the easiest way to make content. It's the simplest way to make a lot of content fast.
If you have this set up and you have a little help, I think, you know, because I overthink it when I'm sitting there alone in my office. I'm like, oh, I should record something. And then I'm like, oh, what do I do with this? That's why I don't have a podcast. We had one kind of, and we had a guy doing a little bit of post-production on it. And it worked fine if we were consistent and we also, you know, not believed in what we did, but just, you know, you just got to get over the idea that you're going to get an immediate transaction from this.
Correct.
This is this is like a new
branding.
It's a new discipline in the business. Like content marketing is
it's a digital billboard.
Yeah. And you have to be consistent. Consistency in everything is how you're going to get there.
When that honestly is one of the reasons that I think, one of the reasons I know that I said, John, let's do this more regularly together, because me doing it on my own, I've been doing it on my own and interviewing people, and I love interviewing people, but scheduling that gets to be difficult. And at a certain point, there's just things that I just need to talk about and share with the audience. And if I don't have somebody keeping me accountable to be there, and we have it on the calendar, then I don't.
You don't want
to
to disappoint me, and I don't want to disappoint you. And then we don't. You know, the more you do of these, you don't want to disappoint the people that actually are listening, because
and then you don't get the benefit of having the content out there that fills your pipeline, so that when you're growing your business, you can just say, well, we do the podcast and we share information, and that's what gets people in the door. And then they already know us, and they feel like, oh, I can feel, especially as a CPA, when I do taxes or when we're doing CFO work for businesses, like it can get to be very intimate with some of these businesses and people, because you're dealing with their money.
Yeah.
Like that's a place that people
everything.
feel very vulnerable, because you really do. You do see everything.
Yeah.
And I would think from a branding content standpoint, you don't get to the same place, but you have to get them to be vulnerable so that you can understand their business in a way to tell the story that is intriguing enough to get people to pay attention.
Yeah, and sometimes I think the most important audience that we help is the owner.
Absolutely.
And their team, because I think sometimes a lot of people just get on autopilot, and when you can kind of feel reinvigorated or see something exciting that you're proud to share with people, whether it's, you know, a case study or a little video, it re-engages your senses into your purpose. And that's the kind of stuff we have to do all the time.
Yeah. And if you're running a business, that is one of the things that you have to spend time on. And I'm guilty of it as well. I don't do it enough.
Right.
And I think that's part of my, you know, I don't overthink things too much, because I do just do things. I do too many things. And I think that's where, like, we've put together the studio here to do this podcast and do other podcasts. And it's happened fairly quickly. I think in looking back, it happened pretty quickly.
Yeah. In
However,
retrospect.
in the midst of it, I'm like, why are we not done? Why are we not recording it? Why are we not? But that's just my bent, to be able to, like, I just do.
I saw a good meme on LinkedIn or something like that, and it showed two pies. One on the left said, cooked for 30 minutes at 700 degrees, and it was black. And on on the right was a perfect looking pie cooked for 90 minutes at 350.
Yeah.
And it's like, which one do you want?
Yeah.
And typically they're talking about scaling your business and growth and all those things, which is true. You know, do you want to grow smart, which means you gotta cook for a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to get back to food.
And well, but that's where it always comes back to. I mean, let's be honest. We got a chef in the room. We can't not talk about food.
I'm great for this podcast.
But I think you're right. It's the patience and the consistency that really is where you begin to win. And I mean, I've been a CPA since, well, it's been 10 years now, and I've been in the accounting. I've been in business for 20 plus. You've been in.
I've been in marketing for 20 years this year, and on my own for 17.
Okay, so like that's been a long time, and I look back and I say I have hundreds of people that are my customers, have been my customers, and I reach out to them regularly, and that's how I've just built my business. So but it took a long time to get to that point.
Yeah.
That didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, I don't think that, like, when it comes to building a business in general, that overcomplication is what's going to get you there.
Absolutely.
I think that, like, especially like thinking about something like a media platform, like a podcast, right? Which, go check out Frazier Brother Industries and come and do your podcast. But got to get the plug in there. But no, I genuinely think that, like, it's really easy to think, well, if I just get the one, like, it's almost like rubbing a genie's lamp. Like, if I just get the one,
the expectation is that.
Yeah. If I just get the one thing that I can make, like, I can boil down my business into this one little egg, and then they can have that egg, and then that'll give them all the information that they need, and they'll trust me with that. I don't think that that's possible. So it's 100% the idea of, like, low and slow cooking is the best way to cook anything, you know, and it'll get you the product that you want every single time. It just takes patience.
Yep.
You have to be patient.
Yep. 100%.
And you have to be consistent.
You have to be consistent.
You have to be consistent.
You have to be patient.
That's right.
And you have to at least have people on, even if you don't have anybody that's, like, on a team and you're an independent contractor or something like that, you at least need to have people that you can rely on to vouch for your business as well.
Yep.
Like, to say that I trust this guy does good work.
Yeah. You need referrals. You have to have testimonials. You have to have referrals. You have to have people that are getting value out of what you do, so that then they can be champions for your brand.
100%.
And ultimately, that's how you're going to grow your business. There is no magic bullet. There's no genie in a lamp that you can rub to automatically have it happen. You just have to keep going. I have to remind myself that all the time, because I just, like, why didn't it happen? Why didn't I put this thing out and not everybody emailed me? So what happened?
They all want it or need it at different times.
Yep.
And you have to be present in their mind at any time to get them when they need it.
Which, not to beat a dead horse, that's where consistency comes in.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's even specifically this podcast, having a backlog.
Yeah.
Having a backlog of things, having those things that you can send to your clients when they have the same question over and over again. You could do it. No one could respond for years, but then that person has that question and you can point them back in that direction. And it shows that you have quality and value and work that is even beyond just the thing that, you know, you do on a regular basis, the thing that you're a professional at. It's huge. It's huge.
Yep. And I think that it's important now and I think this is going to be good for all of us here, is that we are setting ourselves up accountability wise to be doing this more regularly. This is something that we're going to be doing. John's going to be coming and sitting right here, or maybe over there, or maybe over here, but in this room. You'll be in this room.
We will donate $10,000 to an evil organization if we don't.
That's not exactly a lot of money anymore, Dr. Evil.
Hey, I'm the one that starts the cult.
Oh.
No, there's no cult in the Do Business Show.
We're gonna
That's the other show. That's the other show.
Got it.
Fund a cult.
No, we're not funding it. No, this is the other show. That's not this show.
That's the other show.
That's the other show.
All right, sorry.
So, but
now our next business venture will be my cult.
Okay. Now, that's not happening. Circus animals.
Might happen.
So here's what we want to do. We're going to be doing this more regularly. And if you have questions that you would like to get answered about your business or about business in general, send them in. Send them in. Comment here below on this video or the podcast, wherever you're watching or listening to this. You can email. I'll put together questions@frageinc.com, questions@frazinc.com. And you can email your questions there, and we will answer your questions as best we can. We will get experts to come on the show and tell us things that we don't know.
And if we don't get any questions, we'll make it up and we will have questions.
Well, I already have a backlog of questions, which is
never mind.
interesting because I get, like I said, I get asked questions all the time.
You are,
and I'm sure you get asked questions all the time too. So, no, you don't get asked questions.
I do.
And if you want to know how to bake a pie,
That's right.
LinkedIn,
comment
right?
section.
No,
That's right.
comment section. Okay. But this is the Do Business Podcast, and I am excited to be here with John and with Jake and all of you. And hopefully you can just get out there and do business and then come back here and share with us about how you do business.
You don't have to do it alone.
That's right. And you shouldn't do it alone.
That's right.
It's more fun with a group.
I
And
think
go
so.
get an In-N-Out burger if there's one close to you.
Or Tom's Perry's.
Didn't they
because
get,
why not?
What were they before Perry's?
Tom's.
And then Tom's didn't like that.
Tom's
so then
sold.
they went to
They were
Palm-
brothers, and then
they
there was a
sold.
brother. It's not important.
There was a
Go
falling
get
out.
an In-N-Out burger.
That's probably true. Or go get a sandwich at Stefano's.
Ooh,
Because-
yeah, or I mean, real deep cut OC thing. Go to Cortina's.
Ooh.
There's really, Board and Brew. We really could go on.
we could go on and on.
And you know what? If any of you want to sponsor the show, we will talk about you more than the others.
That's
You
true.
know, at
But-
the end of this, I think we should say that like the first restaurant brand to comment on this video, we will give an unpaid advertisement for that restaurant if we like it.
Well, no, comment is fine, but they also have to supply, and we like it, and they need to supply
They
some
need to pay for
samples.
lunch that day.
Oh.
yeah,
We start having, you know what? I
Yeah.
like this. I like
Okay.
the direction this is going.
Yeah.
cool.
More than when you do it alone, you don't get this many ideas in
Exactly.
an episode.
That's right.
And John just said you can't do it alone. So just
can't.
So therefore, we
So-
have to do it together.
That's right.
let's do business together.
Let's
Thank
do
you.
business. Way to go, team. Let's get a cheers.
Ding.
But you don't. Next time, Jake will have a cup too.
That's right. Oh, high five. Bye for now.
Well, that's it.